Marion, I was 3 minutes earlier than I said I was going to be.
She was 3 minutes
I was
early.
3 minutes earlier than I said I was going to be.
Why are we whispering?
It's so frustrating.
It was there was like an accident, and then I think there was an accident from people like watching the first accident. So
You may be seated. Mr. Kearney, you're pulling out wires. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
In true millennial lawyer fashion, do very little handwriting.
I didn't know if you were going to plug in to show us something.
I may do that. No, I don't think so, given this. We worked out Judge Oak's courtroom and we were able to do it. So I don't anticipate that happening here. But
See, those are famous last words. I don't anticipate. This is 2103. Are you breaking stuff over
no,
here?
these chairs don't slide. And so whenever you try to slide, you adjust the back.
They're not supposed to slide, but I guess we need to get back on top of rolly chairs. 210315 FY state. It's wrong file.
And Madam Clerk, I just want to inquire if we are streaming because of the limited amount of people that can come into the courthouse. We are.
we have an order. Is it possible to get copies when Judge signs it?
Yeah.
We can take care
Okay, thank you.
But they're all in the basket, except for this one, which was second time's the charm. 201572, State of Michigan versus Dejon Halliburton. Appearances.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Darian Ford here on behalf of the people, P83359.
Police attorney from the Neighborhood Defender Service of Detroit, P83960, on behalf of Mr. Halliburton, sitting to my right.
Dejon Halliburton.
Thank you. Last time we were here, on May the 3rd, was actually our second time. We adjourned the matter so that Ms. Connerly could seek counsel. My hope is that that has occurred in the interim and we're able to continue on with Ms. Connerly's cross.
Judge, at this time, the people are prepared to offer Ms. Connerly immunity. I do have a petition and application here as well as an order, if you'd like to review it.
I have been provided a copy of that order, and I reviewed the order the same. I have no position regarding the court signing the order. My only request is in the event the court does sign the order, I would request a copy of the order prior to my cross-examination, just so I may use it as an exhibit.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes, please.
Judge, I'd also ask that you excuse my footwear.
No, I understand.
I can't fit my feet in on my other shoes at this point.
The fact that you have on shoes, I'll take as a plus. This isn't signed by you as of yet.
Not yet, Judge.
Okay.
Did you want me to sign, Judge?
I would like you to sign it. You want me to sign the attached order, correct?
Yes, Judge.
And then Mr. Kearney wants a copy before he proceeds with his cross.
Yes, Judge. The people would also ask for a copy just of the order with your signature on it, if that is
That is fine. What I'll do is if I can get somebody to go, I don't know, does Paula have a copier? Thank you. Paula, maybe. Tim, if you don't mind. Paula, if you could just make 2 copies, please. Thanks. So we're not ready to proceed because Mr. Kearney wants an opportunity to review that.
I've seen the order, Judge.
Oh, you have?
I just
Okay.
need a copy because I don't want to use the original and something happens.
Okay. We need a copier. There is a copier up here. There's just not a big copier. I'll ask Fred. I'll ask Officer Garcia to bring one out of the garage.
No problem.
There's, yeah, thank you, sir. See who notices.
It's all about who you know.
Really? That is not what they taught us in law school.
I mean, subconsciously, I think you were taught that in law school.
Did you look at tomorrow? There's some of everybody on there. We start at 8:30. So whoever's here first will go first. I'm not averse to taking people out of order.
Oh, you want to get it or it's just you?
Well, and then I'm trying to figure this out. I'll probably sit out here. Because that's a better screen. That screen in there, you can't see everybody. I'll take this. If you would, I think one apiece to them. Or how did it go? Oh, no, this is the, thanks.
Thank you.
You need a copy?
I would like. more.
Yeah, well, I'll
There's
get
two
it.
here.
There are 2.
Oh, wait, no, this is the order. I'm sorry.
Tim, if I could impose upon you again, or Marion, thanks.
Thank you, sorry.
You know what? I think we should probably get some auto wax.
Oh, yeah.
Because that feels, you know.
So Judge, we could start if you want. I wrote the order sign.
I was just gonna, okay. Ms. Connerly. Gonna have you come up here, I'll get you sworn in. If you could stop right here at this podium, come all the way up to the podium, please. Spell your first and your last name.
Spell it.
Yes, please.
Jasmine, Jasmine. Last name is Connerly, Connerly.
Please raise your right hand for me. You swear affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. You can come have a seat right here in this witness box.
Sorry.
Mr. Kearney,
Thank you, Judge.
Are we streaming?
we are, do you want us not to be?
No, I have no objection.
I'm sorry, I did not say it out loud. We are. Oh, thank you. We are streaming live on YouTube. Due to the fact that the court remains closed to the general public.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Connerly.
Good afternoon.
And sorry, for some reason, it's hard for me to hear you right here.
Good afternoon.
There we go, okay. So for the last time, when we were last here, you recall that you had a chance to confer with Mr. Nunley, and you came back and said, to form and substance, I plead the fifth to my questions, correct?
Yes.
After that, between that court date and this court date, there has been an order of immunity granted to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you understand that order of immunity to mean that when you take an oath to tell the truth and you offer testimony, if some of those things would implicate you in a crime, they won't be used against you. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And, Miss Fortier let you know that she was going to try to get this order of immunity for you, correct?
Correct.
And you know that the order of immunity only covers truthful testimony, correct?
Correct.
Meaning that if the prosecutor decided that you were lying on the stand, they could pursue charges against you, correct?
Correct.
For perjury, correct?
Correct.
As well as for the underlying offense that you would be talking about today, right?
Correct.
And to be a little more specific, we're talking about anything that could come out of the allegation that you slashed Mr. Halliburton's tires, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so, you know that what you told the police on the day this occurred is what started this case, correct?
Yep. Correct.
You know that you told the police that, well, let me back up. You called the police after you went to Mr. Halliburton's house in Inkster, correct?
Correct.
And you told them that at a prior incident in the parking lot of your apartment complex, Mr. Halliburton had pointed a gun at you, correct?
Correct.
Now, according to you, this is after you had slashed his tires, right?
Correct.
But before the physical altercation at his mother's house.
Correct.
And that physical altercation at his mother's house, that's the subject of a different criminal case as well, right?
That we're here today for the case that happened at his mother's house.
Okay. His mother's house is in Inkster, correct?
Correct.
Okay. This is not an Inkster.
Right.
It's
Okay.
around-
So we're here for the one that happened before. Right. Correct.
Right. So the one that at his mother's house in Inkster, that incident is you're aware there's a second case going on, correct?
I am aware.
Okay. With the same issue like this is coming up as well, right?
Same,
Go ahead.
no,
I would object to the relevance at this point.
I'm trying to, this is a bias cross related to the grant of immunity by the prosecution for testimony that implicates her in criminal offenses. The scope of that offense is necessarily irrelevant because that's the contours of the bias.
I understand, Mr. Kearney, but if we could move along just a little
Sure.
bit.
I'm trying to get the pieces in place here so
I'm
we
with you.
can have this conversation. You know there's a second case involving this issue.
In
as well.
Inkster. Correct.
Okay, in Inkster. All right. And when you called the police after the incident in Inkster, and you told them that Mr. Halliburton pointed a gun at you in the parking lot, that's when this case started, right?
This case started when I went after Inkster's. I stayed in Inkster and dealt with Inkster first. Then I actually came to the police station in Romulus and reported this incident.
And so when you called the police in Inkster, you didn't say during that 911 phone call, Mr. Halliburton pointed a gun at me back in Romulus.
I did tell them that.
You did say that.
Yes,
okay.
I did.
So after you dealt with Inkster, they said, no, now go to Romulus PD. You have to make that report to the Romulus Police Department.
Yes,
And
correct.
so you physically went in person to the Romulus Police Department, correct?
Correct.
And then you reported this incident to the Romulus Police then.
Correct.
Okay. And that's where you told them also that Mr. Halliburton had pointed a gun at you, right?
Correct.
And so you know that both the police and the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office believes your truthful testimony to be that Mr. Halliburton pointed a gun at you in Romulus, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you know that if you testified inconsistent with that statement, if you said Mr. Halliburton didn't point a gun at me in Romulus, they wouldn't think that's truthful, right?
They would.
So you're saying if you testified.
They would think that that's not truthful if
Right,
I
I'm
was to go
saying-
back and say that.
I'm saying, you know, that if you said today, I made a false report to the police, or Mr. Halliburton did not point a gun at me in Romulus, that Ms. Fortier would not think that's truthful of you. She would think you were lying.
Correct.
Okay.
May I have that one more time? I'm sorry, that I got confused at that. Sorry.
Ms. Ms. Connerly, sorry, I apologize. If you got on the stand today and said, I made a false report, John Halliburton never pointed a gun at me. With me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know Ms. Fortier would think you were lying if you said that.
Yes, because I already said that he did.
Right. And your immunity agreement with the prosecution, or your immunity order from the judge and the prosecutor only covers things that are truthful, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if you said Mr. Halliburton didn't do this, you could be prosecuted for perjury, right?
Correct.
Okay. Moving on. When you initially reported this incident to the police, it'd be fair to say you didn't mention the fact that you had slashed Mr. Halliburton's tires to them.
Correct.
Okay. And the reason you didn't do that is because you knew that could expose you criminally. Right?
No. This was in my testimony. It was written that I slashed his tires. Even if it wasn't in this one in Romulus, then it was in the one in Inkster, because he made sure to tell them that on the scene.
Okay, so let me, there's a couple things I want to unpack there. You told the Inkster police that you had slashed his tires, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It was already brought up because that's what.
And you told them that.
I'm sorry. Ms. Connolly, I didn't catch the tail end of what you just said.
What I'm saying is, I did tell Inkster police that I did slash his tires because that's the first thing that he said to them. Because that's the only thing he had against me.
Okay.
So when they came to his house, his mom's house in Inkster, that was his first thing that he had to say about me. Oh, she slashed my tires. So
Okay.
yeah, it was brought up and written in the Inkster's case.
Right. And when he brought that up, that was the first thing he said when the police got on scene.
I'm not sure if that was the first thing. I'm saying that was the first thing he had against me, was that I slashed his tires.
So from your perspective, the thing he had against you is that you had slashed his tires previously in Romulus.
Yeah.
And you had on him that, from your perspective, that he had
Destroyed my
your
home
apartment, and you
before
were
that.
upset about that.
Yes.
Okay. And you were upset enough that you provided photos to Ms. Fortier of the damage that was done to your home, correct?
Yes.
You sent a photo of a broken mirror, correct?
Yep.
You sent a photo of, you circled the phone in that photo, correct?
The phone.
And you also.
I'm sorry, Ms. Connolly, you have to actually say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine, I understood you. It's the record that needs it. And then you also sent a photo of a television in your bedroom on a wall that was damaged.
Yes.
Okay. And
There was also the mirror in the dresser.
the mirror in the dresser also in the bedroom,
Yeah.
okay. And when that occurred, you weren't in the home when those things were broken,
No.
correct?
No.
Your belief about who broke them is based on what you claim Mr. Halliburton told you.
Yes. He told me himself that he was going to destroy my home right before he destroyed my
Well,
home.
let's be clear, when we say he destroyed my home, again, you didn't see him do that, right?
No, but my kids were at the home at the time when he did it.
And
So
so
as-
you didn't, my question's real narrow. You didn't see him do those things.
No, I was not present in the home.
Your belief is based on what he said prior to when you believe they were broken.
And the phone call I got from my kids.
Right, and then the statements from other people as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
When you went over to Mr. Halliburton's home in Inkster, his mother's home in Inkster, and this might be a dumb question, how did he get from your house? Did he drive the car with the flat tires or?
Yes, he did.
When you went over there, did you bring the knife with you that you used to slash the tires?
No, I didn't. No, because I went upstairs first to see how my home had been upstairs.
So and this goes back to the sequencing questions I've been trying to ask for a couple months now. So I'll ask you a question, just correct me if I get anything wrong. You get information from Mr. Halliburton saying, I'm gonna destroy your stuff. You come home, at some point you have gotten a phone call from your kids on your way back home. Is this correct?
Correct.
And then when you get there, you slash his tires.
And when I get there, that's when he points the gun in my
Oh.
face.
All right, so
That
you get
happened.
there, he's in the parking lot already.
Mhm.
He produces this gun, according to you, right?
I walked to the car,
Right.
to his passenger seat.
And
I mean,
you have
not to the
knife.
passenger side, to the driver's side. And he leans back, pulls out a gun, points it at my
So
face.
he's in the parking lot inside of his car when this happened.
No, he was not. When I pulled up, he was outside of his car. He
Uh-huh.
got in the front seat as he saw me approaching.
And so you approached the car. Did you have the knife with you at this point?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when, I think you said he leaned back in his seat
Hmm.
and he produced a gun. Okay, where did the gun come from?
It came from the side of the seat.
Did you see him go into the center console or was it in between the seat and the
No,
console?
he just had it down in between the seats. He just reached back and grabbed it.
And the color of this gun?
It was black and I would say silver, not really silverish, but maybe like a,
Do you remember what part was black, what part was silver?
yeah, I do.
Okay, what part was
It
black?
was silver at the top. It was black at the bottom.
And had you seen this gun before?
Yes, I have. I also have pictures. I'm not sure if I sent that to you or not. Did I? I have pictures of him with the gun as well.
And was this a gun that was legally purchased by Mr. Halliburton? That was registered to him,
No,
to your knowledge?
not to my knowledge, no.
And when I say, I asked a bad question there, do you know whether or not it was a registered gun or not a registered gun, or don't you?
I know that it was not a registered gun.
It was not a registered gun. Do you know to whom the gun was registered?
No, I do not.
And when Mr. Halliburton produces this gun, what does he do with it?
He points it at me.
Where is he in the car at the time?
He's in the car.
Okay. Is the
and-
window up or down?
The door is completely open.
Door is completely open. Okay, are both of his feet in the car? Is he?
No, no. One of his foot is in the car. So I'll say his left foot was in the car, his right was out. No, I'm
And-
sorry, opposite. Scratch that. Right was out, left was in.
Okay. And
Right. Whatever.
he produces this gun and he points in your direction according to you?
Mm-hmm.
Does he say anything?
Yes.
Does he say anything at this point?
I can't remember.
Okay. And what did you do when he pointed the gun at you?
I told him he's gonna have to shoot me. He's gonna have to shoot me. If you're gonna pull a gun out on me, then you're gonna have to shoot me with it. That's what I told him.
And in reaction to that, what did he do?
He does nothing. He just sits there with the gun pointed at me.
And this sounds the way you're telling the story, it sounds like you weren't very scared of this gun.
No, I was not at the time. I was angry. That's all I knew.
You didn't seriously think he was going to shoot you in the parking lot, did you?
No, he could have. I don't doubt that at all.
Okay. But I mean, you walk up to him, you pull the gun out, and you said you're going to have to shoot me to him, correct?
Yeah.
And where does he go? Or how does this altercation end? Does anything else get said?
I tell him that he's gonna have to shoot me. I'm not going to move. Then I say, you know what, forget that. I back off. I stab the tires. I go in my house.
What did you stab the tires with?
The knife that I had in my hand when I approached.
Where'd you get that knife from?
My purse.
Okay. Could you describe this knife? Is it a knife for self-defense or was it like a?
Yeah, it's just a little pocket knife.
And how many tires did you stab?
The two back tires.
Both rear passenger and rear driver's side.
Yes.
And at this point, had you talked to your kids yet?
Yes.
Okay. Had you seen your kids yet?
No.
And so you stab the tires, and then what happens after this?
I go upstairs.
You go
I
upstairs,
go into the
okay?
apartment and I go upstairs.
And so where is Mr. Halliburton while you're stabbing the tires?
In the car, out the car. I really can't remember if he was in the car or out because at some point he stood out when I stepped back. Now, if he was actually out at the time when I did it, I don't know, or if he was in, he did step out. When I came back, he was in and he was leaving.
Okay. So when you came back, you went up to your apartment and came back down.
Mhm.
What floor is your apartment on?
The third floor.
Okay. Is it a walk up?
Yes.
So you walked up to your apartment, you did what when you're in your apartment?
Just basically looked at all the mess that he had did.
And
That's
did you
pretty much
immediately
it.
come back down?
Not immediately. I had to kind of, check in on my kids. They were scared underneath the bed. It was glass everywhere. So no, not immediately. It took me a little bit to come down.
Did Mr. Halliburton come into your apartment at all when that was going on?
After that, no.
When you say after that, what do you mean?
I mean, after the incident period, no, he did not come back in, no.
And when you came back down outside, about how long from when you first went up?
I'm gonna say I was probably up there for a good 5 minutes, before I came back down.
And when you came back down, you said Mr. Halliburton was leaving with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when this whole incident happened, was there anyone else in the parking lot?
Yes, there was. My best friend who was driving the car that I was in. And there was another female driver. I don't know who she was, but she was in the parking lot as well because she was trying to give him a jump for his car because he couldn't.
Okay. So let me just make sure I understand that. So somebody else drove you to your
Yes.
house? Okay. Was that not your car? Did you need to get a ride back to your apartment?
I was actually out with my best friend at the time that it happened. So yes, she is the one who drove me back to my apartment.
And when you got back, how did you get over to
My best friend.
your best friend drove you over to
Yes.
Mr. Halliburton's mother's house? And this other woman in the parking lot, was she in the car with you, or did she live there? Did she?
I'm not sure.
Is this a big apartment complex, or are there a lot of people who live there?
Yes. It's not like huge, but yeah.
So you don't
It's
know
a
all your
lot.
neighbors? is it?
No, I don't know all of my neighbors. Just in my building, I do.
And when you saw this woman trying to give a jump to Mr. Halliburton, how do you know that was what was trying to happen, or what was happening?
Because she was parked on the grass in front of his car and there was the
Those
wires, whatever you call those wire things.
Jumper cables? Is that
Yes,
right?
jumper
Okay.
cables was
Um,
connected from his to hers.
And so Mr. Halliburton was having some kind of separate mechanical problem when you arrived at the scene?
Objection to relevance.
I wanted to ask, do you have anything to do with this mechanical problems with Mr.
Your
Halliburton?
response, your
No.
response to her objection?
It was, I could ask a more pointed question, I withdraw and ask the more pointed question. Did you have anything to do with the mechanical troubles?
No, the car had already had its own mechanical issues.
Did you ever see how Mr. Halliburton got his car started?
Objection to relevance.
Trying to establish if this other witness was around and saw this whole incident.
I'm inclined to agree with Ms. Fortier, Mr. Kearney. You've been asking, I'm not sure your line of questioning where you're going. Would appreciate it if you could.
Sure, I mean,
Maybe.
it's not necessarily with this witness, it goes to the argument I would have against probable cause that comes after her testimony about the likelihood of this incident unfolding in a parking lot and no one calling the police. Especially if someone is sitting there watching it happen while trying to jump his car, so that's the relevance of it.
Objection sustained.
Understood.
Thank you, Judge.
So I want to try to figure out how many times you spoke to the police about this incident. I think we already established you called 911 in Inkster and you went to the Romulus Police Department. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when you're at the Romulus Police Department, you completed a written statement,
Yes.
right? Following that, have you had any other interviews with a detective or Ms. Fortier where you discussed the incident that occurred? The substance of the incident?
Before that,
After that?
after that. Just prior to any court dates.
Okay, so the 3 court dates we've had.
Yeah.
The photo you sent Ms. Fortier of Mr. Halliburton with the gun you claim he used.
Objection, mischaracterization of testimony. She wasn't sure if she sent it to me or not. And I can confirm after pulling my computer out and looking through evidence.com in my file that I do not have a picture of that gun.
Did you send a photo to Ms. Fortier of Mr. Halliburton the gun?
I might have sent it to someone back in Inkster. It's just, with both of them, it's kind of pulling me. I'm trying to remember, but I do have the picture and I can't send it.
Okay. And my question I wanted to ask about that is, that photo came from Facebook, right?
No, it came from my phone.
You took the photo?
Yes.
Okay, I remember the question.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Fortier?
May I have 30 seconds?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions for this witness, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Connolly, thank you for coming in. You may step down. Any other witnesses, Ms. Fortier?
Judge, the people have no further witnesses. You ready to do that?
The defense has no evidence.
Argument?
So at this time, the people had moved to bind over as charged in the information. Ms. Connerly, over the course of, I believe we had 3 days of testimony, testified that she left the apartment with Mr. Halliburton at the apartment. Mr. Halliburton indicated that he was going to destroy all her things. She got a phone call from her children implying the same. When she returned back, she got to the parking lot. Mr. Halliburton was there. She approached his car. He did point a handgun at her that she recognized as a handgun. After that incident, she does go back into her apartment. She goes through all the damage in her apartment. She did testify, I believe, on the first day that the collective amount of all of the things that were damaged was well over $1,000. Based on that, the people do believe that they've met their burden, probable cause standard, and would reserve any further argument for rebuttal.
Thank you, Judge. I would ask the court not to bind over on count 1, assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault. As the testimony established, an element of assault is that somebody needs to be put in fear. Ms. Connerly testified directly she was not scared. She said she was angry. And I think it's not just her personal statement that she was not scared. She added context to that. She said, I was angry. I said to him, you're going to have to shoot me. I'm not moving, which again is an action connected to the fact that she was not scared. If someone points a gun at you, if you're not scared, if you're scared, you're going to move away, you're going to do something, you're going to emote that fear in some way, shape, or form, which she did not do. She did the opposite of that. She stood there, she said, you're going to have to shoot me. She then produced a knife, and then from, crediting her testimony, did something antagonistic toward this person that she claims had a gun pointed at her. And so I think those 3 things, saying, you're going to have to shoot me, not moving, saying she's not saying she wasn't scared, saying she was angry, and then puncturing the 2 tires, antagonizing the person who she claims is pointing a gun at her, all evince the fact that she was not put in fear, which makes it not an assault. Obviously, the production of a weapon is that would, if the court finds no probable cause on count 1, that means count 2, there would also not be sustained. And I would submit on the record as a count 3 for the malicious destruction of property.
Judge, just very briefly, Mr. Kearney did ask Ms. Connerly these questions on cross-examination, did push her farther to say, to ask if she thought he was going to shoot him. She indicated that she definitely thought that was a possibility. I think that's enough to meet the level of probable cause in this case. And again, respectfully ask Your Honor to bind over.
We've now appeared here on 3 different occasions on this matter. Court's had the opportunity to hear the testimony. And Mr. Halliburton, we bound over as previously charged on all charges. His next appearance date will be an arraignment on the information that Frank Murphy, 2 weeks from today, will put us at June the 2nd, 2021. His bond will continue. Our records indicate $5,000 personal. Anything else on behalf of the people this afternoon?
Nothing further from the people, Judge. Thank you.
Anything else on behalf of Mr. Halliburton?
No, Judge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're off the record. Thank you both very much.